Hey everybody, this is Andre here with the Kevin Breeze channel, and this is Top 5 Reasons to Buy the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 in 2021. To get some more information on the pricing and availability of the device, be sure to check the link in the description. This link is going to take you right to the phone on Samsung's website, where a lot of the time they have some great trade-in deals that you might not find anywhere else. That being said, let's get started. Now, the first reason to buy this phone in 2021 is its processor. Now, this is a very high performance phone. The Samsung Galaxy Note 8 is getting 6 GB of RAM with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor. We ran a Geekbench 5 benchmark test on this phone, and it came back with a single core score of 363 and a multi-core score of 1582. These are definitely impressive numbers if you're doing more demanding tasks like photo and video editing, or maybe even some gaming. This is definitely going to come in handy. And even if you're doing basic activities like browsing the web and lots of content consumption, it's definitely going to be nice to have because it's going to load a lot faster, play back a lot better, and just be a generally better experience than some of the lower end phones. To give you an idea of how fast this phone really is, I'm going to give you a little demonstration. We're going to start by opening Google Chrome. Everything loaded right up. Let's see how fast it'll pull up a web page. We're going to try one more page. So as you could see from that little demonstration, it's definitely a fast phone, and it's really capable when it comes to web browsing and processing. So if you're doing a lot of that, if you're doing more demanding tasks like gaming and video editing and that sort of thing, it's really going to perform well. Now, the second reason to buy the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 in 2021 is that it has a headphone jack. Now, this might sound like a small thing, but more and more manufacturers are doing away with their headphone jacks. So these days, it's actually pretty hard to find a flagship phone that has a headphone jack. But the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 has a good old-fashioned 3.5mm headphone jack right here at the bottom. Even though wireless headphones and speakers are getting more and more popular, it is really nice to have the option to use a normal pair of wired 3.5mm headphones whenever you want. So it's nice to actually have a headphone jack. Now, the third reason to buy the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 in 2021 is the display. The Samsung Galaxy Note 8 has a 6.3-inch Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 1440p, a PPI of 521, an aspect ratio of 18.5 by 9, and a screen-to-body ratio of 83.2%. Now, this is a very high-quality display. In the price range that you can currently get this phone for, there are some phones, not a whole lot, but some mid-level phones that can compete a little bit with the processing power. But as far as the display goes, there are very few, if any, other phones that are brand new near this phone's current price range that have a Super AMOLED display with that high of a resolution. Usually the resolution for those phones is around 1080p. And then of course the PPI is very high as well. And even though a lot of the older phones like the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 have pretty thick bezels, this phone really doesn't. With the screen-to-body ratio of 83.2%, the bezels on this phone are definitely not nearly as thick as that of similar phones that were manufactured around this time. And not only that, but even compared to a lot of the phones that are made today in this similar price range, the bezels are actually really small. And part of the reason for this screen-to-body ratio isn't even the bezels around the screen, it's really just these. And part of that is just because the front-facing camera is right here instead of being a notch or a hole punch on the screen itself. So really, the bezels in comparison to other phones in the similar price range is still going to be pretty small. So the screen's going to look really nice. It's going to look really modern. So in general, the display is very high quality, and if you're doing a lot of content consumption or even gaming, photo and video editing, you name it, it's always good to have the best display you possibly can get. And in the similar price range, some of these newer phones like the Motorola Moto G Stylus, for example, will have a similar processing power, But when it comes to the display, those 1080p phones are really not going to beat a 1440p Super AMOLED display on a phone like the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Now, speaking of price range, the third reason to buy the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 in 2021 is the price. Now, this phone is a flagship phone that retailed at a very high price, but these days you can actually find this phone unlocked for GSM carriers for under $300. Now that is a great deal, even compared to the Moto G Stylus, which is a really close competitor to this phone currently. That phone sometimes is actually a little bit more expensive than this phone, depending on the deal you get, of course. Now, flagship phones that are slightly newer are going to be a lot more expensive than this, and really, for the price, you are getting a lot of value out of it because this phone has some features that non-flagship phones don't have. One great example of this is wireless charging. This phone actually does have wireless charging, which is a great option. If something happens to your charging port, then usually the phone is done for. But with phones that have wireless charging, it's a great backup while you get your phone repaired or whatever the situation may be. And even if nothing happens to the phone, it's still a nice feature to have. This phone also has an iris scanner, which again is a more rare feature that non-flagship phones are most likely not going to have. So the bottom line is there might be newer phones that are more mid-level in a similar price range to this phone that can compete in some ways, but they're not going to have the features that are specific to flagship phones that the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 does have. Now, the final reason to buy the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 in 2021 is the software. Now, although this phone doesn't have the newest version of Android, it is still a really good software that's super optimized and easy to use. And again, this is a flagship phone, so although it is a very high-end phone, it's not going to have every single feature that the newer Android phones do have today. That being said, the software is definitely a good software, really easy to use and really optimized for the phone, tried and true, and definitely runs well. And not only does the phone have a good software, but it also has the 2020 security patch, so you can be sure that security-wise, the phone is up to date and very safe and secure to use. But this is top 5 reasons to buy the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 in 2021. If you found these reasons compelling and you now want to find a Samsung Galaxy Note 8 for yourself, definitely check the link in the description. This link is going to take you right to the phone on Samsung's website, where a lot of the time, they have some great trade-in deals that you might not be able to find anywhere else. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely leave a thumbs up and subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.